Town Express. Twende bwana, town. Wacha town twende. Kalia hapo nyuma, kalia. Bado haijajaa, dereva watu wengine 7.
Kwani wazako si ungekulia kwenu? Sasa umetoka wapi? Mimi sitaki mahindi leo.
Wewe unamchia mkate.
Siagusi mkate fubi.
Wewe ongea bora usikuze mkate yangu.
Sishike hivi.
Wazako kulia huko mbali na mimi. Sisi nakulamiwa ni wewe.
Donda, gari imejana bado unasema watu waingie. Tuambie dereva hapo apunguze wimbo. Niongee na simu hapa.
Hakuna volume inapunguzwa hapa. Kama unataka kuendesha gari yako, enda dial *570# option ya 3. Watu wanaendesha magari hapa nje na wewe bado unapiga nyenyenye kwa matatu.
Option 3,
unalipa ama unasuka?
Comfort yako iko kwa *570# option 3. Master Genio moja safi, reliable, modern safety and security features. Cheza mara kadhaa ujaze entry ticket zako kwenye draw ili uimarishe uwezo wa kushinda. Mshindi tunamtangaza 27th of April na gari tutakufikishia.
Omega unaenda ama wewe?
mimi sindi na madri nishainuka na *570#.
Inuka na Genio kwa *570# option 3.
Asante.
We heard you. Tax amnesty is back. Kenya Revenue Authority is giving 100% relief on interest, penalties and fines for tax debts incurred up to 31st December 2023. Don't miss out. Take action now by settling your outstanding tax debt through easy-to-pay installments by 30th June 2025 and watch those penalties and fines for tax debts disappear. It's now or never to set your tax records right. Take advantage of the tax amnesty today. Terms and conditions apply. Kenya Revenue Authority. Tulipe ushuru tujitegemee.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Breaking your fast with dates and water is a tradition grounded in sound nutrition. Dates provide quick energy while water helps to rehydrate your body. Be sure to follow this up with a meal that includes lean proteins, vegetables, and whole grains. Save the deep-fried, sugary, and processed snacks for the end of your meal. This strategy will help to reduce your consumption of these foods and to ensure that you're getting nutrients from the healthier options first.
Let's welcome you back to Prime Edition, coming to you from Broadcasting House here in Nairobi, Kenya. On to that story now that is in the lips of many people here within the Broadcasting House. Family, friends, and colleagues have mourned the late budding journalist Frederick Sayayalel Parsayo as a dedicated media professional who strived to uncover the truth which brought to light crucial issues affecting the society.
The late Parsayo, who was laid to rest at his family home in Lolgorian, Kilgoris, in an emotional send-off, was described as a bold journalist who gave a voice to the voiceless and inspired countless individuals with his unwavering commitment to journalism.
Fred met his untimely death on the 21st of March at his residence here in Nairobi, Kenya.
Lolgorian village, Kilgoris in Narok County. A cloud of grief and despair engulfed the atmosphere as family, friends and workmates converged to bid farewell to the KBC's dedicated journalist Frederick Sayalel Parsayo. Emotions ran high during the burial ceremony, presided over by the Sacred Heart of Jesus Catholic Church Lolgorian Parish, as mourners across the board described the late Parsayo as hardworking and with a great future. For his family, the vacuum left by Parsayo's demise might take forever to fill. In her condolence message delivered by KBC Managing Editor Graham Kirwa, the corporation's Managing Director Agnes Kaleche mourned Parsayo as a dedicated journalist who strived to unravel the truth and give a voice to the voiceless in the society.
On behalf of the board and management of Kenya Broadcasting Corporation KBC, we extend our sincere condolences to your family during this incredibly difficult time. Frederick Parsayo was not only a talented reporter, but also a cherished member of our team. His passion for storytelling and dedication to uncovering the truth brought light to many important issues in our community.
Poleni sana kwa jamii, poleni sana kwa marafiki, KBC, kanisa na jamii ya walimu. Tunasema pole na wacha Mungu awafariji wakati wa kilio na huzuni sana kama siku ya leo because of losing such a young.
His friends and workmates described him as a man who lived an inspirational life and brought a smile to everyone around him.
Parsayo nimemjua sana, amekuwa rafiki yangu, nimesoma naye katika chuo kikuu na baadaye tukafanya kazi pamoja. Amekuwa kijana mwenye bidii, kijana mwenye kujituma sana katika kazi yake, na mimi kama rafiki yake nitamkosa sana.
Parsayo was more than a friend to me. He will always pass by in the studio, say hi. We shared some good memories that I will always remember, and we will really miss him.
Parsayo was a vibrant and joyful soul, a true jokester. I remember him as a dedicated journalist who was burning with zeal to leave an impact in the media industry. He's someone whom I shared with a lot of ambitions, dreams and aspirations, and his void will be felt and will be a big impact, and I'll truly miss him.
Parsayo was a wonderful person. He was very jovial. He was this one person that you could talk to, you could joke with.
The late Parsayo forged an illustrious career at the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, spanning at least 3 years, and served in the KBC Channel 1 TV General News Desk until his demise. May perpetual light shine upon him, and may his soul rest in perfect paradise. John Kahiro, Prime Edition.
Frederick was such a bright presence. He'll be dearly missed.
A young soul gone too soon. Ocharo William, you're saying is a person you used to know, and you're sending you messages of condolences. Esther Yamaita, you're also sending your message of condolences. Continue talking to us on our social media pages at KBC Channel 1 on X, YouTube, and Facebook.
Moving on, members of parliament now want the State Department of Higher Education to provide details of the beneficiaries of 3.1 billion shillings granted to private universities for government-sponsored students.
This is after the Office of the Auditor General flagged out at least 412 million shillings that were disbursed to 15 private universities as capitation for 9,000 students who had stayed beyond the duration of their courses.
Higher Education Principal Secretary Beatrice Inyangala was at pains to convince the MPs that the Auditor General relied on data that had not been updated for the university fund.
Here is that report.
According to the Auditor General, at least 15 billion shillings were disbursed to 32 private universities as grant capitation for government-sponsored students for a period of 7 years from 2016 to 2023. However, the amount of 201 million shillings was disbursed to 15 private universities as grant capitation for 4,500 students who were not placed by the Kenya Universities and Colleges Placement Services. Another 412 million shillings was disbursed as capitation for students who had stayed beyond their course duration. The Auditor General also flagged out that 35 million shillings had been disbursed to private universities as capitation for students who had already graduated, while another 53 million shillings for students who had deferred their studies. MPs demanding the ministry provide details to validate the funding of the private universities.
If you are saying the students had deferred and you had already disbursed money to them, you are funding operations of a private university at the expense of public university.
Government of the Republic of Kenya is giving private entities public resources so that they can achieve their end game of making profit.
Higher Education Principal Secretary Beatrice Nyangala, in response, faulted the Office of Auditor General for relying on initial placement data without capturing subsequent institution transfers.
During its review, the Office of the Auditor General relied on COOP's initial placement data without capturing subsequent transfers, that is, institutional transfers from public universities to private universities.
MPs further grilled the State Department of Higher Education regarding overcapitation of 19 public universities by 4.1 billion shillings, while another 20 public universities were underfunded by 4.4 billion shillings, as flagged out by the Auditor General.
You do not actually specifically talk about this capitation. So if this capitation issue is not there, where did the auditor get an issue to do with capitation?
The agreed level of capitation from government should be 80% of the differentiated unit cost of programs. And therefore, Honorable Chair, we are always seeking for additional funds to support universities.
The State Department of Higher Education is now expected to provide the criteria used in capitation for universities. Gishoke Washira, Prime Edition.
From varsity students' grants onto the quest for IEBC leadership, former Deputy Chief Registrar of the Judiciary, Francis Kaikai Kissinger, has told the IEBC selection panel he was dismissed by the judiciary to allowing investigations into a 300 million shillings graft case in 2015.
Kissinger, who was among the 4 applicants interviewed on Tuesday, denied any culpability in the case in which he was recommended for prosecution alongside the then Chief Registrar Gladys Boss-Sholei over the controversial procurement of a palatial home in Runda for the then Chief Justice.
Abdiaziz Hashim has details of the interviews for the post of chair of the electoral body.
Back in 2015, the then Chief Registrar Gladys Boss-Sholei, alongside High Deputy Francis Kaikai Kissinger and other high-ranking judicial officers, made the headlines after the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission (EACC) recommended their prosecution over graft claims.
And among the people who EACC recommended for prosecution was also your name. And while you are serving, you don't understand what will hit you.
10 years later,
that I have a questionable integrity question, then I wouldn't have applied. I applied knowing very well, with clarity of mind, that I walk the path of truth.
The incident will feature as he presented himself to be interviewed by the IEBC selection panel for the post of chair.
There were issues or investigations touching on one of the courts that had not been constructed. The investigating agencies heard about it and moved into the institution.
Kissinger, alongside 5 others, were charged for allegedly flouting the Public Procurement Act in purchasing a palatial home worth 300 million shillings in Runda, Nairobi County for the then Chief Justice.
So it wasn't about a palatial home for the Chief Justice. It was about a court. There was that issue of the court that I've explained. There was also the issue that arose about the house.
He further told the committee he was advised to step aside from his role to allow investigations into the claims. Meanwhile, former Nairobi County Assembly Clerk Jacob Ngwele was haunted by audit queries during his tenure at City Hall as he faced the interview panel.
Part of the scheme was to create fictitious or malicious accusation that we had not supplied, we had paid for goods not delivered, books worth around 800,000, and that complaint was based on a draft report of the internal auditor.
Ngwele, who at the end of his tenure fell out with members of the county assembly, pledged to form a good working environment if appointed.
The first one, first of all, was to institute a malicious criminal case against myself and my management officers. We were arrested, Kamata Friday, we were thrown out, we went to court, and the court, under Section 210, returned us back to office.
This as Erastus Edung assured the panel that if appointed, he will address the cost of election in the country, this coming in the backdrop of the poll body requesting 61 billion shillings to conduct the 2027 polls.
We will have, as new commissioners, we have to sit with our secretariats to understand the cost, the costing element, the cost aspects of our work.
The search for the next IBC chairperson will conclude tomorrow, as that of the 105 commissioners will kickstart on Thursday this week. Abdiaziz Hashim for Prime Edition.
This next one we teased at the beginning of this bulletin. The World Cerebral Palsy Awareness Day was marked with calls to end discrimination in employment opportunities for persons living with the condition.
This was the clarion call during the national celebrations held in Nairobi as persons living with the condition decried lack of job opportunities, forcing them to heavily rely on their kin and well-wishers to meet their basic needs.
Kasichana Masha puts that story in perspective.
Tuesday in Nairobi, hundreds of people living with cerebral palsy converged to mark the World Cerebral Palsy Awareness Day, aimed at creating awareness on the condition, which largely affects mobility, muscle coordination, and sometimes speech. It is at this event that it was revealed the majority of the population still associate the condition to a bad omen or curse.
Cerebral palsy is not witchcraft, is not curse, it's a condition. Kama yule mama anaenda maternity, akichelewa kujifungua mtoto. Yule mtoto akikaa kwa tumbo kwa muda kuzidi ile muda alikuwa toke, ana inhale ile liquid ya mama na mtoto anakuwa na challenge ya brain.
Many children are denied access to quality education, and adults find difficulties finding employment and health care services that meet their needs. This is not just a personal struggle, it is a societal issue that demands our collective action.
The participants decried despite Article 27 specifying the inclusivity as a right, they continue to suffer discrimination owing to poor implementation of the article.
You are being discriminated. People tend to focus on your physical appearance rather than focusing on your capabilities. So today we should all embrace diversity, we should embrace inclusivity, and we also should accommodate persons with cerebral palsy in our societies.
Additionally, stakeholders urged the government and private companies to ensure buildings, roads and walkways are accessible to persons living with the condition.
Just about 2 weeks ago, I now have a certificate for a disabled child. But what after? After the registration, then what comes? I'm really anxious.
Nairobi City County Public Transport Act, which we are doing public participation currently. So can we have your input into that act? Tujue, how do you want our public transport to be? Is it responding to issues of persons with disabilities?
Kenya joined the world in marking the day, whose theme this year was Empowering Lives, Breaking Barriers. It was a clarion call to the government to fully equip health facilities to support those living with the condition access health services. Kasichana Masha, Prime Edition.
Kasichana's report brings us to our second break, isn't it?
Yeah,
our second break here on Prime Edition. We're going for a glass of water.
When we return, we'll be shifting to the shifts. Health Matters this week, Tom.
Health Matters this week. Regina has a panel, has an audience, and sit back and listen in.
Jet A1, cheza aviator bila data bila credo. Dial *892# for instant takeoff. Pepea bila pressure kucrash au kucash out. Aviator bila data, aviator bila credo. Uko na kabambe, wewe pia ni rubani mnoma. Dial *892#. Jet A1, michezobet.com. Cheza kwa kuwajibika. Kushiriki ni miaka 18 au zaidi. BCLB license number 0000664.
Welcome back. Now it's time to shift over to KMTC here in Nairobi County, where our colleague Regina Manyara is hosting a panel. And the topic of discussion tonight is an important one. Health is one of those pillars that are extremely key in any growth of any nation. So
talk to us on our social media pages at KBC Channel 1, and Regina will be able to interact with you this as she hosts the principal secretary in the Ministry
There
of
she
Health.
is. There she is. There she is. Over to you, Regina.
Well, good evening once again. As we mentioned tonight, we're going to be looking at matters public health. And on the shift, as we mentioned, we get into the heart of the matter to discuss the realities of public health. What is thriving, what needs diagnosis, and what is a prescription for a healthier nation. So joining us tonight on set to dissect these critical issues is none other than Principal Secretary in charge of Public Health and Professional Standards, Mary Mothoni, who is at the forefront in championing the government's policy on preventive care. Good evening once again. This is A Shift, and I am Regina Manyara. Welcome, ma'am, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Now, quick one.
Glad to be here.
Good. Now, just let's get to meet you. We'd want to know what has been the most rewarding part of your journey as PS Public Health so far.
I think I am happy to see reduction of the disease burden in the country. I am happy to see people embracing quick wins in terms of prevention, because public health, basically, I summarize it in 3 words: prevention, promotion, and protection.
Prevention, promotion, and protection.
And protection.
The 3 Ps.
The 3 Ps.
On that note,
that's how I would summarize it to any layman.
Any layman.
Prevention in terms of there are things that we can do to prevent diseases. Promotion in terms of telling people what they need to do. And equally protection. You've seen us protect our boundaries and also ensuring that we don't have emerging issues coming into our country. So really, the 3 Ps summarize it much for me. And it's my happiness to see a happy nation. It is my happiness to see people who are able to have intrinsic motivation to do the right thing, and especially to prevent diseases or to prevent themselves from diseases.
The 3 Ps. We'll be tackling it as we discuss matters public here on The Shift. And tonight, in one of the very first, we have a live audience on our venue tonight. That is the Kenya Medical Training College. And those who are seated in the audience today include students who are studying in this particular college, this is a headquarters. Remember, this is a department within the Ministry of Health that is charged with the training of professionals in this particular value chain to feed the local, regional, and international market. We also have principals of various campuses in the house, and they're going to have a one-on-one interaction with our guest tonight to just put into perspective matters of public health. Just the same, you will be also allowed to give in your feedback tonight. You can get us on our various platforms, including X at KBC Channel 1. And tonight we were posing this question to you back at home. What do you think is actually the biggest problem with Kenya's healthcare system? And the choices that we have: choice A, high cost of treatment; choice 2, shortage of medical personnel; choice 3, poor hospital facilities; and last but not least, on D is shift from NHIF to SHA. That's an opportunity for you to interact with us tonight on the shift in as far as matters of public health are concerned. So you said the 3 Ps, Madam PS.
Yes,
that's a question to the audience. We'll also sample your feedback on that.
I'm waiting for the answer.
We'll get to that.
I'm
you will
eagerly waiting for the answer.
You'll give us the feedback. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the public health docket?
Wow. I think I would say we are not where we are supposed to be. And for me, it's a continuous process.
Continuous process.
And really, let the work rate itself.
All right.
But I would say we are doing the very best to ensure the interest of the public in terms of public health, and equally ensure that we have reduction of diseases, starting from communicable diseases, non-communicable diseases, and ensure that Kenyans are accessing care at the very best, availability of care, accessibility of care, acceptability of care, and equally affordability of the same.
Yes, I hear you do not want to give us a scale of 1 to 10, but we'll pick it up at the end of this conversation. We will know where we are between 1 and 10. We'll get back to it. Now let's talk about universal health care.
Yes.
But before we get to the nitty-gritty details of the universal health coverage, just unpack what happens under the public health docket.
Under the public health docket, we, and especially going by the executive order, ours, the department, is public health and professional standards. And that is why we are here at KMTC today, because we deal with the professional standards, the training of healthcare workforce, both undergraduate and postgraduate, prevention of diseases, as I had said earlier, promotion of health promotion in regards to, I can give an example of probably taking care of yourselves by eating better and ensuring that you prevent diseases by eating well. And really, we are also able to sensitize the masses on emerging and re-emerging issues in society. We are able to go all out, tell the people that your personal hygiene is very important. Environmental hygiene, remember we are talking about issues of climate change, the extreme weather condition, may it be more rain or more heat, it is a danger to us. Again, we have water, issues of water, sanitation. Unknown to you probably, Kenya still has 15 counties that still practice open defecation. And this is a critical issue.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, public health is broad.
It's broad.
Vaccination issues, So it is rather broad, and we are able to cover each and every corner of this country, ensuring that, go back to the 3 Ps,
yes.
Prevention, promotion, and protection.
So now, under the universal health coverage, journey, you've mentioned it's a journey and not a destination. What would you say has been the progress in as far as implementation is concerned?
Look, Kenya has committed to roll out the universal health coverage and to make it succeed. We have tried many times. And this time round, it is not going to be a trial. It is going to be action-oriented. The Ministry of Health, or rather, let me start with the Kenya in general, under the Kenya Kwanza administration, we have 5 key agenda items, starting with health, MSME, housing, digital economy, and we have agriculture. So you see, health is strategically placed even within the government itself. And from there, when we go to the Ministry of Health, the very first thing out of the commitment to ensure that there is a universal health coverage, we came out with follows that will help us, because a house without a base is very shaky. And the follows were Digital Health Act of 2023. And digital health basically is talks about interrelatability of data. You know, when you walk from one facility to the other, we are able to have your data in the system, and you don't have to keep repeating stories, you know, when you go to see a health practitioner or at any facility. Then we have the Social Health Insurance Financing Act of 2023, which I will delve into much later. Then we have Primary Healthcare Act of 2023. When we talk about Primary Healthcare Act, this is what is holding on to the lowest level facilities, including also our level 1, which is the community health promoter. And you have seen the great work that the community health promoters are doing at the bottom of the pyramid.
All right.
Indeed, the 107,831 men and women have a gadget, a smartphone that they use. It's their tool of trade instead of carrying around books. And it's also part of the Digital Health Act, you know, because they use it to collect data. And equally, they have a kit that has consumables. It has equipment to take blood pressure, blood sugar, you know, medicine for worms for young children, you know, first aid kit. So the Primary Healthcare Act has also integrated community service within it. Then we also have Facility Improvement Financing Act of 2023. Really, initially we used to have, when we have budgets or when we have grants, you can easily reallocate it to any other agenda. You can take it to roads, environment, or any other. But right now what you're saying, we've anchored it into law, that any money that is meant for health must remain in health. We have basically ring-fenced
the laws and the funding.
Sorry?
The funding, as you said, ring-fenced the
We
sector.
have ring-fenced any money that is allocated or granted and meant for health agenda, whether it's for buying commodities or construction or equipping facilities. It can never be reallocated by either the county assemblies or the National Assembly. It will remain in health. So if it goes to the county government, nobody can say, there's emergency now, we move this money to this place. Through the Facility Improvement Financing Act. So that law. Then we also have okay.
The laws. We'll come back
Yes.
to the laws. Now, let's talk about one fundamental issue. You've talked about the social health
insurance financing.
In financing, that is. Now, SHA. Now, with the establishment of SHA as it is to cover all Kenyans, what has been the enrollment progress, you know, especially on the vulnerable population?
Now, the Social Health Insurance Financing Act, which happens to be under the Social Health Authority.
Yes.
The Social Health Authority is just a structure by itself that now houses 3 funds. We have the Primary Healthcare Fund, which now caters for the lowest level of facilities, that is level 2 and level 3, whereby initially people never used to be catered for through NHIF, but right now you can go to level 2 and level 3 without payment. You can be taken care of. Then we have the Social Health Insurance Fund, which takes care of the secondary facilities and the tertiary facilities, that is level 4, 5, and 6. And we also have the chronic emergency, chronic, and critical illness fund. If you look at the number of emergencies that we have on the road or any other, even in your own house, sometimes you may just slide in the bathroom. And initially people would go to the facility and you're told, put a deposit, 20, 50,000, so that we can get a specialist to come and attend to you, and probably you have broken your leg. So we want to run away from that kind of engagement. Now, as at today, we have 20.7 million people who have registered to the Social Health Authority. And indeed, this is a good thing, because NHIF only used to cater 20% of our population. And out of that 20%, majority of them used to be the salaried. That is me and you know. But right now we want everybody, 100% registration of every Kenyan who lives here, so that whenever you go to any facility, you're able to access care. And if you look at NHIF again, this is a fund. It was only one fund, and it had existed for 60 years. Now we are talking about SHA, which has existed for 2 years. And you can see we have 3 funds in it, and we are rolling out. More people are joining in. And forget about what people are saying, oh, few people are only a few people are paying. But it is work ongoing. We expect as people register, they are able to pay, so that we are able to also offer the very best of the services. Therefore, again, NHIF would also cover smaller groupings of for instance, it would cover students who are in secondary school, as opposed to now SHA that is covering every other child that is in the country. Look at Linda Mama. People would, mothers would just go to give birth, as opposed to now when you are catered for during prenatal or antenatal, during delivery and after delivery. So we have enhanced almost every other package. The other day we had, we were covering hospital bed at 4,000, but now we've already gazetted that we will cover it at 28,000. It is
so
an
from
improvement.
4,000 to 28,000.
Yes.
It is under gazettement right now.
It is already done.
It is already
and that is why I'm saying, let us believe what the government is doing, because at the end of the day, we will be able to listen to what Kenyans are saying. If they are complaining, we are not deaf. We are a listening government. We are able to go back and look at the tariffs and say, maybe we didn't justifiably give it enough funds to be able to cater for the kind of sickness. Look at oncology. People have been complaining simply because we had put at 300,000, but right now it has moved to 500,000 because we saw the suffering that Kenyans were going through. If you look at the first week of SHA, there was chaos across the country, and in fact, the people who have who were going for dialysis services across board, they had a lot of problems. But right now, dialysis is one of the the cases that has been delivered very well.
Okay. We'll pick up on that point, on the delivery. Now we will be looking at what do Kenyans say about the facilities in as far as public health is concerned. So we take a quick breather on the shift. Remember, you can be part of this conversation. Get us on X at KBC Channel 1. Yes, it's quite windy here. We are having a bit of, climate change, as we say. But hey, nonetheless, we're going to keep it here. We're here, we're not leaving. We'll have to address matters of public health, so be part of this conversation. See you in a bit.
Kupitia star 570 hash tunakupa nafasi ya kuchomoka na this beautiful Mazda Demio. Enjoy a beautiful clean semi-leather interior, low mileage, fuel-efficient 1300cc engine, great for personal use and business. Ukitaka kujishindia gari hii, kucheza ni rahisi sana. Chukua simu yako, bonyeza star 570 hash, chagua option 3. And for only 35 shillings, hii gari inaweza kuwa yako. Kumbuka kucheza mara kadhaa, because the more you play, the higher chances of wewe kuwa mshindi.
Mungu ni mwema, asante Mungu. Ile nitakuwa naendesha hivi.
Dial star 570 hash and make this dream car yours.
Cheza Loto Moto.
Tumsikize Sheikh Danun ili aweze kutufahamisha kuhusiana na kisa hiki na mengine mengi ambayo yanafungamana na jinsi ya kuchuma mazao ya mwezi mtukufu wa Ramadhani.
Kwa sababu dini yetu hii ni dini ya kukumbushana. Kwa hiyo tunapokumbushana tuhakikishe tunakumbuka huu ukumbusho na tuwe wenye kufanyia kazi haya maamrisho yanayotoka kwa Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala na kadhalika.
Well, it's windy out here, but we are staying put for the shift as we discuss matters of public health with none other than Principal Secretary in charge of Public Health and Professional Standards, that is Mary Muthoni. And before we took a quick breather, we were looking at what has been done so far, especially targeting vulnerable members of the community there, and just having the rundown on that. So let's pick it up from there, Madam Pierce. Would want to know, have we contained the spread of Mpox?
Yes, and from where I sit, yes, we have been able to do all, to put all systems together and ensure that there is no much spread. As you have seen since last year, we are still at maybe 50 people who have Mpox, and most of them have healed. And they have gone back home. We have enhanced a lot of surveillance across the borders, the ports of entry. We have been able to train our healthcare workers on how to deal with it. Not just healthcare workers, including the hoteliers and any other people who may be coming into contact with people or travelers who are likely to have the disease. Now, we have also been able to ensure that screening is done at the ports of entry. If you look at an entry like JK, Jomo Kenyatta, we have 24,000 people who go through that port of entry every other single day. And if you probably divide it by 2, the people who are coming into the country could be around 12,000. Therefore, we are able to screen each and every person who is coming into the country, and you're singled out and isolated should you be having that disease. And not just Mpox. In our neighboring countries, we have had issues of Ebola. We have had issues of Marburg. And so our preparedness is not just for Mpox, but any other pandemic should it happen.
Now, on that note, yes, since you've said that we are ready and we are doing this screening. Now, I'm just going to use this word with a tinge of salt. just recently there was a strange disease. They're calling it strange because we are not in the medical profession. We may be lacking in Kisii, and it was linked to contaminated water. So how are we, prepared to deal with such outbreaks? And first, maybe you can tell us, we are calling it strange disease. What was it?
Well, let's just call it the strange disease in Kisii.
All right.
But we were able to unravel what exactly was happening. And it was one area, one water point, where the water was contaminated with fecal matter. And because once we took the samples in the lab from the water in the houses and the water from the pipe, the results were the same. And therefore, we were able to have the prescriptions done better for the people who had been affected. About 8 villages had been affected. What we did was to close that place so that the people from that area could get water from another point. And and we also sent our community health promoters together with the national administration to ensure they go from door to door and ask the people to boil their water. And if you're not boiling, then make sure the water is treated that you're taking. Because some of these things, basically, it's out of how we deal with them from a layman's perspective. And that is why when you asked me what is our work, I also said health promotion is part of it. And this we are doing very well with our community health promoters. In terms of screening, ensuring that we are encouraging people to also go for screening for diseases like cancer, so that it can be detected early. Our community health promoters, if I may go on to talk about them, is a great force. We have 107,831. As at today, 29 million people have already been screened for diabetes. And out of that, 340,000 have been referred to a health facility for further assessment. 19 million people have been assessed for blood pressure. And out of that, 744 have been referred to a health facility for further assessment. What does this mean? That most of us are walking patients.
Indeed,
we may not know. We may not know. Absolutely.
Then, Madam Pierce, what are you doing to support CHPs who are in security or bandit-prone areas? Because they still have to work. How are you supporting them?
This is their village. This is their space. These CHPs come from their locality. We don't export CHPs from any other area. So whatever is being done in those areas through the national administration and the security team, it covers even our CHPs, just like our facilities that are in those areas. So nothing out of the ordinary, really, because these are people from the community. And each CHP covers 100 households. So those are your neighbors.
Indeed.
It is where you walk as you're going to the market. You have your kit and you have your phone. But we expect them to visit each and every person at any given time. They're supposed to find the women who are pregnant and have not been able to go for their antenatal and tell them that Linda Mama exists so that they can go for their prenatal care. They are supposed to find the teenage mothers who are in their houses, who are hiding because of stigmatization, and tell them that it is important they go for prenatal care. They are actually trained. Our CHPs are trained to actually assess common childhood ailments. They are able to check malnutrition of children. They are able to assess, the common childhood ailments, diarrhea, and are able to guide the mothers and the caregivers on what to do. And already more than 3 million children have been visited by our community health
Indeed, those
promoters.
are good numbers.
Indeed, part of what I'll keep going back to prevention, promotion, and protection. So that just basically to break it down, prevention in the sense that they also have chlorine that they distribute to the households, just to ensure this prevention of diseases if you take clean water. And equally, they are able to promote, tell members of the public, come up with your small kitchen garden so that you can have a balanced diet. They are able to ensure they are telling the members of the public, the citizens, that go for early screening.
Okay.
You know.
Now let's find out, Pierce. We'll pick it up from there. We'll pick it up.
You invited me
community
for
health
conversation.
Workers. We have people who are online and they want to give their views, Madam Pierce. Please allow us to have that conversations with Mwananchi. Thank you very much for giving us your feedback. Let's just sample what Kenyans had to say about public health and what they think Madam Pierce Mary Mutheni tonight should address. Let's have a look.
In the context of Kenyan health services, prevention is better than cure. Why? Because treating an illness is more expensive than preventing it. And preventing the illness also leads to an healthier population. But what do Kenyans know about this? Let's find out.
I don't know what is UHC anyway. I have not gotten to any forum that explains UHC to me. So actually I have never heard of it myself.
Hili jambo la universal healthcare mwananchi wa kawaida hajaweza kuelezwa vizuri na serikali, and that is why you can see people complaining here and there that it is not working, because SHA is part of the universal healthcare, and that is to my understanding. And the reason why it is not working is because maybe one of the issues is the information. People don't have the information.
Wacha nichukulie kama hiyo SHA ambayo ni part of that universal healthcare change to be somehow like Betika. Kwa nini nasema namna hiyo imekuwa kama Betika? Betika watu wote watalipa, watu 1 million watalipa. Lakini watu wale ambao watasaidika naye ni watu 3 out of 1 million.
People don't have information. Like you can have a public being invited by various institutions, county governments, and health centers, to people to come and screen themselves or check their health status, but the information is not reaching out to the people. So it is not accessible, I can say that.
Sasa kama hii yenye nilikuwa napita tu nikasukia wanasema nini TB natakikana kupimwa. Sasa na mimi nikaona wacha nipimwe hiyo TB nione kama inaweza kuwa niko naye.
Aondoe saa arudisha ile ilikuwa mbeleni.
Like improve healthcare, iko affordable kwa kila mtu. Ndio like watu wenye like street people wanaweza afford healthcare juu huku nje kuna siku safi and stuff, so waweze ku access healthcare.
They should try and improve on the health sector, like without bringing new projects which are costly to the common mwananchi and which are burdening our local people with new taxes.
And even when you look at the services, it is not as way it's supposed to be. So it needs a very, what we can call, very critical look of it, to make sure that it is checked to the deep, to make sure that the person in the ground, yule wa chini kabisa, yule mtu wa chini amesaidika na healthcare.
Well, that is what Kenyans had to say in regard to the questions that we posed to our guests tonight. And we want to give you an opportunity to respond to that. Some of the issues that have been brought forth, Madam Pierce, is the lack of adequate information on what is available and how they can access that. Secondly, is that they seem not to understand the dynamics, around the transition now under Taifa Care and such. Then also there's a question that has gotten here on X that is, ask Madam Pierce to address the case of quack doctors and negligence. What measures are in place to enforce professional standards and punish offenders? Maybe you can respond to those three as you continue sampling the feedback.
Okay. Indeed, I must say probably we haven't gone all out on communication, and that is why I am here tonight, because there are many medium types of communication, and this is just one. we should be able to reach each and every Kenyan wherever they are. If you look at the issue of SHA, we have been able to come up even with a call center. That is to make it very easy for people to call so that you don't keep asking yourself, where do I get help? It is important to also give written communication to even facilities where if anybody goes to any facility, you are able to access information easily. So we will continue with the same. We will continue engaging people like yourself so that you give us the loudspeaker. You are one mouth, there's another person who can be able to channel the communication, and also through students like here at KMTC, the ones who are listening to me tonight, they will go home with one or two, three things that they never knew about universal health coverage. What Kenyans want are services. Yes. And that is what I have gotten.
Indeed, they want services,
and
they just don't know about them.
They want services. And that is why we came up with SHA. That is why we even anchored it into law, to ensure it is strong, the base is strong. And that is why we also came up with the 3 funds, 2 of which are funded by the Exchequer, and 1 which is our Harambe.
All right.
That all of us are pulling funds together to ensure that we have better facilities in terms of infrastructure, that even infrastructure, if you go to a facility, even mothers have dignity in not giving birth in an open hall, to make sure that we have equipment and the right equipment in our facilities, to make sure that we also have human resources in the same facilities, and also to make sure that people can access these services and afford them easily.
Now, Madam Pierce, you've mentioned something.
There's a question.
Yes, on competency.
Quality of care.
Quality of care and the competency.
And of the quack doctors.
Yes.
That is what you're asking.
Yes.
Kenya is very key into equipping the human resources for health with the best skills. And world over, in fact, if you look at most of the nurses that are poached from Kenya because of the quality of production that we have. And we are also not talking about the quality, we are also talking about numbers, because we want to have human resources for health that are working in our country, and at the same time we have to export labor out there. Look at KMTC.
I'm looking at KMTC.
We have been moving. I'm coming back to your question.
Yeah.
We have been moving through leaps and bounds, from graduating a mere 10,000 up to graduating 24,000. And this year alone, we might be able to admit more than 28,000. Last year it was 28,000 students.
All right.
Now, going back to the quack doctors, I want to remind you of what happened to the facility that did an operation to somebody. And we were able to do a thorough investigation and close most of those facilities that are doing plastic surgery in the country. We have laws that already are governing that. So we are not doing guesswork. And anybody who does a shoddy job at any facility, they are able to be disciplined using the laws of Kenya. We have a Kenya Medical Dentist and Practitioners Council that is mandated to oversee the same. We also have other regulatory bodies that oversee different cadres. Okay. We have the clinical council, clinical officers council, we have the nursing council, we have nutritionists council, we have many of all of them that are able to oversee and also be able to inspect facilities in case of some that have opened either without licenses or they do not have the proper human resources.
All right.
Therefore, that is nothing, that should not be something to worry about in Kenya.
I liked that you said we look at KMTC. We are at KMTC, and that question, we're going to engage the audience here tonight. We'd want to hear what they have to say. And the question tonight also on our socials, we asked you, if you had 30 seconds, and I repeat, if you had 30 seconds with Public Health Principal Secretary Mary Muthoni, what would you tell her? So we are here live at KMTC. We want to give our live audience an opportunity to participate. My first person to participate, just assist them with a mic. Pauline, kindly assist them with a mic. There he is. He's going to hold it for you. 30 seconds. Question to Madam.
Okay, thank you very much, Madam Pierce, for public health. My question is, how are KMTC students who are transitioning from the college, having graduated, awaiting employment, catered for under the Social Health Authority? Thank you.
All right. How are students who are transitioning catered for under SHA? You want to care to respond to that before we get another?
Yeah, sure. I want to guess that by the virtue that they do not have any income, under Social Health Authority, we have an option for indigents. They can register as indigents, or they can be catered for by their parents or a caregiver. And if you register as an indigent, then the government will pay for you. We are ensuring that each and every person in this country accesses healthcare and quality healthcare, just like what our constitution says.
All right. Next question to our live audience. Far right. Pauline, assist me here. Far end. Far end. The gentleman at the far end, just walk across. Remember, also you can be part of this conversation. Get us on our various social media platforms, including X at KBC Channel 1. What would you tell? P.S. Mary Motheni is in charge of public health and professional standards. Let's go. The floor is yours.
I'm David Mereu, a student in Nairobi campus, and I just have a question concerning today's topic. And so, we being the students and the future workforce, sometimes we undergo financial constraints. So my question is, what is the progress of help allocation to KMTC students? Thank you.
Thank you for that question. Indeed, it is something that we have been pondering with. However, I know we have an allocation of 500 million already. I know initially it had been removed completely. And now we have an allocation of 500 million. We will continue supporting the same and advocating for the same to ensure that students of KMTC are equally catered for by help.
Any other question from the floor? The gentleman next to the lady.
Thank you so much, Madam PS. And I think the opportunity to be a student at Nairobi KMTC pursuing medical engineering, you are talking about the training. And the training entails much. When we are in class, this part of curriculum that we cover in class. But the concern that I'm posing to the ministry now, where you sit, that what is the ministry doing to support the students to access the clinical placement? Yes, we can be in class with theory, but now there's the concern of us going for placement for much practicals. In terms of site, we are able to access those placement platform without being charged, just for educational purposes. Thank you.
Placement.
I am aware that KMTC students are charged, and not just little money, quite a bit of money by facilities when they go for placement. And myself and the board of KMTC plus the CEO, we are working very hard. We are continuing to have conversation with these facilities so that they can lower those fees or scrape them completely, because at the same time you're learning and you're also offering services to these facilities. So I'm calling upon the facilities that house KMTC students to actually hear and heed to our call, that they may remove the fees that are put for KMTC students or lower them at any given time. So we will continue talking to the facilities, the owners of the facilities, the managers of the facilities, just to ensure KMT students have a seamless placement.
Very well said. Now we get online. We have two. I'm going to sample two. In the interest of time, there's so much that is coming in on our social medias platform, but you can keep sending them. We're going to share them with Madam Pierce. So one, he goes by the name Hillary MGL Hilarious. Well, all right. This is, yes, I mean, they say SHA is not working. Secondly, Kamusi Inayotembea. 30 seconds are much. I only need 5 seconds. I even don't earn any amount per month for me to pay 850 shillings in the name of SHA. In fact, pesa kidogo napata, familia inanitegemea. Let them sit and decide carefully. Young couples tunaumia kwa ground. Madam PS, respond to that too.
I've had, it's actually on the screen that SHA is not working.
Yeah,
but I want to say SHA is working. Please let us be specific. Let us be intentional. Let us say where SHA is not working, because that is the only way you can help us rectify. Indeed, I know there could be some places. For instance, we had facilities that are not contracted. If you don't have a contract with SHA, how is it going to work in your facility? And when somebody comes to that facility, you tell them SHA is not working. So we need the more than 5,000 facilities that are still out there and are not contracted with SHA, because that is where you will go to the to seek services, and then you're told pay in cash. Therefore, I would seek and plead with the members of the public that do not generalize anything about SHA. Come and say, I went to this facility, I was never treated, or I was treated and I did not like the treatment.
Now, another comment online, someone is asking, now with the withdrawal of donor funding, will there still be free HIV and AIDS testing? VCT. Definitely anonymous.
Well, yes, with the withdrawal of the USG through the executive order, I know there's a bit of discomfort, there's a bit of restlessness, but I want to tell the members of public that to remain at ease. Already we have some of the commodities that have been reinstated. You saw the other day we got quite a number of commodities for HIV, TB, malaria. And again, we have not been told that it is forever. We were given 90 days. And we are still within those 90 days. And within the 90 days, a lot of things will have happened. I have said some commodities have been reinstated. As a government, we are also budgeting. We are working on our budgets, prioritizing some of the areas, getting other allies to come on board equally, other donors from other places. So there are many things that are happening already, and it is important that people to remain calm. We are still not at a crisis.
All right.
We have managed at whatever level.
All right.
Yeah.
Another question from the border counties. What is the status report, Madam PS, on the Kalaza outbreak? So far, over 20 of the children within my village have perished.
I am aware about Kalaza. In fact, most of my team members are in Wajir County, where Kalaza has really been bizarre, and it's really not been good, looking good. We have enhanced our surveillance on the ground. We have sent commodities. We have trained our healthcare workers on the ground, and it is a work in progress. There's a lot more that is happening on the ground, and we will keep this information coming. Should there be any alarm, then it can be raised either through the county government or through ourselves, so that we are able to manage the same. Also, procurement of other commodities is happening. Farm and non-farm beds, we have added more beds to those counties, and drugs at the same time.
I hope that puts them at ease. Now, as we work towards the end of this particular live broadcast, what is the department doing, to restore confidence in public healthcare? Over past, it hasn't been so good, and that's the truth. What are you doing to regain confidence? From Wanjiko.
Really, I don't know the degree of the confidence.
Those were saying,
I may not rate the magnitude of the confidence, because I would say it ranges from person to person, or from one area to the other. And just like I have told you, the kind of transformation and reforms that we have introduced in the Ministry of Health, it starts from there. It starts from anchoring everything into the law and ensuring that we are moving forward into implementing the same. And that is what we are doing with SHA. That is why I mentioned SHA is barely 2 years, whereas somebody would compare with another fund which had existed for 60 years and which was at the verge of collapse.
All right.
And again, we are also introducing programs that will help us go to the ground. We have a program that we call Epuka Uchafu Afya Nyumbani. Epuka Uchafu Afya Nyumbani basically talks about our personal hygiene, asking people to clean their hands. Just wash your hands at any given time. During COVID, you would sneeze and you wash your hands. You wave, you wash your hands. You would imagine that somebody has, you've gotten the germs by just waving at somebody. You would do anything. Touch on a seat, you wash your hands. What happened? So we want people to go back to that. Wash your hands at any given time, because the hand is one of your organs that can bring a lot of dirt to your body and to your mouth, whatever you swallow. Then even smaller children that are going to school, as little a thing as giving them a handkerchief so that when they go to school, they are taught how to sneeze, taking care of the environment, environmental health and standards. I talked about climate change.
I'm there with climate change because I also want to know in these projects, how are you involving, the counties in running these awareness and projects? Where do the counties come in?
There is nothing that we do without involving the counties. In fact, every of our programs and projects, for us, we come up with policies and training, while the counties are the implementers.
Good.
If you look at anything that we do, the counties are actually the implementers of anything that we come up with.
All right.
We can craft a program together, and then the implementation goes there. So I was talking about environmental hygiene again, teaching the people on how to stay better in their environment, draining water to prevent diseases like cholera, malaria. And we are just coming from a very successful project of distribution of 15 million long-lasting insecticidal nets across 22 high-risk counties. Right. Clearing of bushes, basic things that may not cost you much. Then we also talk about water and sanitation. I cited that in this country, we still have 15 counties that practice open defecation.
Which are these counties? We'd want to know.
I may not have the whole listing, and let us
15
not.
counties.
Let's not
open
name and shame.
All right.
For now.
15 counties in the 21st century.
Let's not name and shame for now.
All right.
But we are working very closely with them,
counties,
so that they are able to up their game in terms of having everybody having a latrine or a toilet in their homestead, which is very important. Water, which is very critical. You either drink water that is boiled or is treated. Because should you not do that, then many diseases may come from that, and especially diseases like diarrhea, cholera, dysentery, and all that. So it is important for people to know what they can do themselves. Look at diseases like cancer. Many people are afraid of this disease, and they are saying it is a killer disease. But if we practice screening early, let's say, for instance, cervical cancer, we are practicing the 90-70-90 rule. 90% screening of all the women in the country, that we can achieve that. The 90% of all our women are screened every time. 70% vaccination, HPV vaccination to the young girls under the age of 14 years, and 90% of treatment. That should you get unwell, then we shall treat you. Right. So these are things that people must know. And we talked about communication, and you have repeated it, and people have said, we don't know. It's a challenge to me. I am a student of
I like that because I'm about to ask you in 30 seconds, summarize public health. Remember the question we started with. I asked you to rate the public health docket between 1 and work in progress. Now, after we've talked about the 3 Ps and the projects, give us a figure so that we can track in the next 2.5 years where we will be at.
6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. That's around a B, B plus, B, B. B minus there above
Kaizen.
We continuous
I
improvement.
believe in that.
All right. Parting shot, Madam PS. Parting shot. What is our take home tonight when you talk about public health and it delivering the dream that is universal health coverage?
This is the year of getting screened. Get to know your status at any given time. And I go back to prevention. What you can prevent, please do it to the very best. Promotion. If you get into your chama, please talk about the good practices, high levels of hygiene and protection where possible. The government is here to protect you, to ensure that our borders are free from harmful people and people who could be carrying viruses. So we will enhance our screening, enhance our surveillance, and ensure that our borders are free. Thank you.
Very well said. We have been speaking to none other than Principal Secretary in charge of Public Health and Professional Standards, coming to you live from the Kenya Medical Training College. This is the headquarters here. This is a parastatal that is under the Ministry of Health that is charged with the role of training professionals in this particular value chain for both the local, regional and international market on a night when we have been putting matters of public health into perspective. Take home the 3 Ps. What you can prevent, do. Go and promote it out there. As they say, prevention is better than cure. I'm Regina Manyara. You have been watching The Shift. Now I take you back to Broadcasting House.
But the time was too short.
Inuka na loto moto sasa kwa star 570 hash option ya 4 kuna kashamba juja na nika 50 by 100 worth 1.7 million Kenyan shillings. Na hii si shamba tu, iko kwa prime location few minutes from Juja Town. Stima yako iko ndani na kama ni development rapid and so promising. Na mambo ya landlord mwisho wa mwanzo ni hapa. Ukishinda hili shamba tunakuongeza 1 million Kenyan shillings ujijengee nyumba yako kwa shamba yako. Kuinuka na loto moto ni kucheza sasa hivi kupitia star 570 hash option ya 4 au register deposit na ucheze sasa hivi kwa www.tushinde.com na ujishindie shamba hili na addition of 1 million Kenyan shillings. Inuka na loto moto.
Where to?
I'm not a child.
Fuatana tu wakuchukue tena.
Dad, just let a girl breathe.
Yani hapa kwangu ndio ulikuwa unajigamba kwa simu, you are very busy.
Just greeting Sky. You know that she's an old friend.
Hautampata popote. Hebu get out of my compound.
When have you been the type to fall back?
When your life is on the line, you have to, Mom.
You're now thinking.
Pole nimekaa sana kufikiria. Who abducted my daughter?
What?
You are protecting the abductors.
I don't want to start digging covered bruises.
Nobody touches my blood.
I knew I married you for a reason.
From the shift back here to Broadcasting House in Nairobi, Kenya, and the fight against corruption in the country has reached a critical juncture as government agencies vow to intensify efforts to safeguard the country's future.
With the nation grappling with a mounting debt crisis, officials are sounding the alarm, warning that if graft continues unchecked, Kenya's stability is at risk.
That's right. At heart of this battle is a call for unity right across all sectors, from the judiciary to the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, as they tackle that pervasive vice that undermines the nation's progress.
Ben Chumba with the details.
As corruption continues to drain billions from public coffers and crippling essential services, the government is sounding an urgent alarm.
Corruption is truly a poison that we are partaking every day, and it is going to poison our entire system until we die, and we kill our country, and we kill the future.
With external debt soaring to a staggering 5.09 trillion Kenyan shillings, the need to confront corruption has never been more critical.
It is the worst period for this country in terms of debt repayment. This country has never been where we are today. And allow me just to demonstrate to you that that is the reality that we must confront. We made decisions some time back to take certain loans, and those loans, unfortunately, have just reached the peak in terms of maturity.
During the launch of the Anti-Corruption Strategic Framework, which marks a new chapter in Kenya's efforts to root out corruption and build a prosperous future for all, government agencies warned that the country's very future could be in jeopardy if these criminal activities persist.
This is the only way we can succeed in the fight against corruption. It doesn't matter how good we are as an agency.
If we can just reduce our appetite for stealing, we say consciously, if you are stealing 1,000, reduce it to 500. If we consciously reduce the theft to 1 billion, it means we'll be saving 1 billion per day for 365 days. In a year, you will save 365 billion shillings.
The judicial system in the country is undergoing sweeping reforms to ensure courts are free from corruption.
There are so many brokers who hover around the courts, telling people, prying on vulnerable litigants, especially widows who come to court to seek for services. And they are told, I can expedite your case.
According to the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC, in the past 5 years, the Commission has saved the country over 41 billion shillings by preventing misuse of public resources.
During the same period, the Commission completed and forwarded to the Director of Public Prosecutions 762 cases for prosecution.
The ODPP, in conjunction with the judiciary and EACC, have effectively dealt with corruption cases involving high-profile individuals and has managed to secure convictions in high-profile cases involving governors.
This multi-sectoral framework will enhance coordination across key areas: prevention, investigations, arrests, asset recovery, prosecution, and trial.
By strengthening the justice sector and increasing public trust, the Anti-Corruption Strategic Framework promises to not only combat corruption, but pave way for a brighter, more prosperous future for all.
I get the question sometimes, what would you change in Kenya if you had a magic wand? And my first answer is always, I would get rid of the corruption.
Impunity must end. This is greatly demotivating to everybody else if they see that you can get away with whatever and there's no risk of being discovered or punished.
With a stern warning that the country's future is at stake, the fight against corruption is clearer than ever. But will this be a moment to change talks into actions, or will it just be another chapter in a story all too familiar? Ben Chumba, Prime Edition.
Thank you for staying with Prime Edition. We change gears now to business news. My name is Wairi Mujenga. Kenya is in talks with Afrexim Bank to channel 10 billion shillings to the Agricultural Finance Corporation for onward lending to farmers to ease credit access. Here is Benson Rioba with the details.
Farmers' cooperatives are set to undergo changes and stricter regulations as more lending is advanced to farmers.
Agriculture Principal Secretary Paul Rono says the cash will be disbursed through SACCOs in a new blended farmers financing model.
All other things the farmers require should be at the cooperative level. So we'll be looking at the 1450 cooperatives one by one. How can we perfect them and make them trusted, better governance, so that our farmers use the cooperatives to build their wealth?
The National Treasury is exploring ways to expand the loan book of the Agriculture Finance Corporation.
The current engagement is a discussion that is ongoing between the National Treasury and the Exim Bank, where basically we're looking into an additional injection of more than 10 billion shillings.
Farmers will access the credit through their cooperatives to reduce the risk burden for the Agriculture Finance Corporation.
There is a lot of government goodwill in terms of resourcing AFC so they can be able to expand it on its mandate to the farmers of Kenya.
They were speaking during the Financing Agri-Food System Sustainably 2025 Summit. Benson Rioba reporting for Prime Edition.
Now, Kenya Airways has recorded a profit after tax of 5.4 billion shillings in its financial year ending December 2024. This is a 124% rise, up from a loss of 22.9 billion shillings the year before. Kenya Airways attributes the growth to cost management and Project Kifaru, which has seen more routes expansion and increased traffic.
The airline's turnover went up 6% to 188.5 billion shillings as it sought to manage its capacity growth for routes across the continent and the world. Passenger numbers went up 4% to 5.23 million people. Cargo volumes went up 25% to 70,776 tons. KQ's cargo business accounts for 10% of the carrier's business.
Now, for Africa, unlike global, our cargo load capacity actually did go up. This reflects additional capacity of additional aircraft, bigger sized aircraft that is flying the Africa routes. Maybe the comment I also want to make here is Africa is plagued with specific challenges.
The airline attributes cargo growth and overall performance to the effectiveness of the recovery strategy under Project Kifaru, which has focused on enhancing operational performance through various initiatives and delivering customer service through targeted actions.
This result that we have here, many people may say, okay, it's about time, it's a long time in coming, maybe it should be bigger, it probably would have been bigger if we didn't have some of these challenges of 2024. But this is an exemplary result, and I think we can be proud.
Of course, 2024, our currency was also a bit stable. And this is a testament that the recovery strategy is bearing fruit. So we put a lot of initiatives in place so that we can contain costs. So that's why we closed at a lower number than what we had in 2023.
In terms of operation, the airline's capacity increased by 10%, whereas yields remained consistent with the previous year. Alanako, Prime Edition.
Kenya is betting on science, technology and engineering and mathematics courses to transform the country into a knowledge-driven economy. Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Migos says the government has rolled out various strategies to deepen the uptake of STEM courses among learners. Here's that story.
The journey to transform Kenya into a knowledge-based economy while integrating smart technologies has faced major headwinds in the past due to lack of skilled workers. To address this, the government has launched the National Curriculum Policy to promote enrollment in STEM subjects. The strategy targets to immerse young learners into STEM courses through the Basic Education Curriculum Framework, which recommends 60% of learners from junior school to transition to STEM pathway in senior schools.
As we strive towards becoming a knowledge-driven economy, investment in education, particularly in ICT, is paramount. The Ministry of Education remains committed to ensuring that every student, regardless of their background, has access to equality and quality education that prepares them for the demands of the 21st century workforce.
Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Migos says the government is also investing more resources to expand the ICT infrastructure, like the 100,000-kilometer fiber optic system. The CS spoke at the Huawei ICT Competition 2024-2025 Awards, where 12 finalists were picked to represent Kenya at the regional meeting in Johannesburg, South Africa next month. The head of Huawei ICT Academy, Michael Kamau, says through talent transformation and cultivation, Kenya can build a sustainable digital ecosystem while providing a platform for students to excel in fields like AI and networking.
We saw a lot of innovations on smart farming. But the underlying result is that they are all using the IoT and AI technologies to make their solutions move. So we want to allow access to these young innovators, to give them access that, to be honest, could be expensive, or they could not have access they could not have it availed to them easily in terms of cost, in terms of resources. So we've seen solutions in that space.
This year, 21,000 students from 18 sub-Saharan African countries participated, with 21 Kenyans qualify for the regional finals. The 12 finalists will advance to the global finals in the city of Shenzhen, China, later this year. O'Brien, Keman for Business News.
Kenyan businesses leaders are strategically positioning their companies for long-term success. This is according to the latest PwC 2025 Global CEO Survey, and the story comes up next.
The PricewaterhouseCoopers Global CEO Survey of 2025 found that 60% of Kenyan CEOs are anticipating a global economic growth, and 48% are expressing confidence in the local economic landscape.
What is most gratifying is to see the sheer sentiment of positivity from an economic growth perspective, which is not shared in the same strength across Africa or on the continent.
The survey highlights that 50% of CEOs trust AI-embedded processes, while 48% develop innovative products to target new markets. However, 50% of the CEOs admit they have not yet made significant climate-friendly investments. The survey found that most CEOs in East Africa are focused on regional growth, choosing to expand their businesses across the borders, with Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania topping the list.
72% of CEOs in East Africa are expecting to see growth, and that's quite optimistic. I think the second thing we've seen is the increasing recognition by CEOs of the importance of technology, and particularly generative AI, to be a catalyst for growth for their companies.
More than a third of the surveyed CEOs believe their companies will not be viable beyond the next decade if they continue on its current path due to shifts in the regulatory environment that are expected to have the biggest influence on their economic viability. This is prompting companies to take intentional actions to reinvent their businesses.
Last but not least, Kenyans borrow about 15 billion shillings monthly from digital lenders. This is according to the Digital Financial Services Association of Kenya Annual Report 2024, which attributes the growth to internet and smartphone penetration, as well as the rise in uptake of borders who are mostly financed by digital lenders.
As of October 1st, 2024, the Central Bank of Kenya licensed 85 digital credit providers, in addition to the already licensed 34. As a result, more Kenyans have been borrowing from the digital lending platforms due to their ease of access and no collateral requirement. However, the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner received close to 4,000 complaints on digital lenders by May 2024, with 2,325 being determined. The DFSAK report indicates that complaints against digital lenders have dropped from highs of 4,000 a month to under 100 a month in 2025.
We were talking about the consumer protection improvements we have made, where we had almost 4,000 calls of complaints in 2019, and now they've been reduced to a few dozen.
DFSAK welcomed the Business Laws Amendment Act of 2024, which took effect in January, placing digital credit providers under Central Bank of Kenya regulation.
We have an improved tax regime as a result of the Tax Laws Amendment Act 2024, which gave digital lenders what is known as bank equivalency. So now we pay the same tax SACCOs, banks, and microfinance banks pay, which essentially means that we now have some predictability.
Other laws governing the subsector include the Excise Duty Amendment 2022 and consumer protection laws, which means stricter rules to ensure fair lending practices. Alanauko, Prime Edition.
More stories on our website at kbc.co.ke. My name is Wairi Mujenga. Up next, Marakwet Express with the Day Sports. Good night.
Hii mtu meusia watu wengi sana, akiusa yeye natoroka.
Na hata ukiangalia hii kwanza amebit kabisa, hii amefanya kazi mpaka.
Nikieleza hii mahakama kuhusu vile ulikuwa umelewa na ukaushiwa viatu mbaya na mtu, unakuja kusema ni mimi. Nitakuwa nasema urongo ndugu yangu.
Urongo Sauri, mimi nimemwambia wewe misuri.
Kwa viatu nilikuhusia?
Hapana.
Hapana. So, kielele, ni ya nini unaleta hapa kwa
kielele?
Lakini ukiwa mrefi, utajuaje kiatu mzuri na kiatu mbaya?
Ndio hiyo unateka advantage ile watu unahusia sababu wamelewa.
Na ni kwa nini uliuza viatu ukijua ni vya mguu moja tena hata havifanani? Sasa
forgive your manners. Forgive your manners, mheshimiwa.
Nakwambia ongea lugha ya taifa, wacha kujifanya unajua Kiingereza na haujui.
Welcome back. It's now time for us to talk sports. My name is Karen Kibet. Now, shot putter Peter Kamau Mwangi scooped Kenya's first gold medal last night at the ongoing World Athletics Masters Indoor Championships in Gainesville, Florida, USA. Mwangi dominated the event from the start to the end with a massive throw of 14.79 meters to claim the coveted gold for Kenya. On the track, Ibrahim Muya won a silver medal in the 60 meters M40 category, where he clocked 7.04 seconds behind the winner American Antoine, who timed 6.95 seconds. Anthony won the bronze in 7.09 seconds. The outgoing Principal Secretary for Sports, Engineer Peter Tum, visited the team and was optimistic of a stellar performance from Team Kenya despite the visa challenges that led to a leaner team at the championships.
Okay, mimi ndo sijaienda. Hii ndio ya kwanza, kiwanja si haikuwa poa sana vile. Lakini nimetumia tu nguvu. Ni Mungu tu amenisaidia ile nguvu yenye nakuwa nayo hata huko Kenya. Hiyo ndio nimetumia huku. Nikanyorosha wazungu na nashukuru Mungu sana.
This is just about the beginning. More to come. I have the 200 coming as well. This is a good kick just to point to everyone what is there to come in this one.
When you look at the speed vis-a-vis the ages, then you realize that age is just a number. They are doing quite well. Even the gentleman who was throwing a shot put, Mr. Kamau, is age over 40, but then he is leading as of now in the hits.
The Kenyan team to the World Indoor Championships is back from Nanjing, China, where they did not manage to get to the podium. Olympics finalist Susan, however, managed a fifth placing in the finals of the 1500-meter women's race in 4 minutes, 3.89 seconds in a race won by Ethiopian Gudaf Sigei in a championship record of 3 minutes, 54.86 seconds. The Athletics Kenya chairman for youth development, Barnaba Korir, who welcomed them back, hailed the team for their resilience despite not winning any medals. Coach Vincent Mumo decried lack of proper indoor training facilities as a major hindrance to their performance.
Ahead of Ethiopia, Jakob Ingebrigtsen gets his first world indoor title, and that was not as easy as he might have expected.
Moving on, the Nationals Sevens men's rugby team Shujaa are already in Hong Kong for the 5th leg of the HSBC World Sevens Series, where they held a first training session today. The team boasts of, among others, Vincent Onyala, Kevin Wekesa, Patrick Odongo, Brian Tanga, John Tevaga, Tony Omondi, Dennis, captained by George Oro and Samuel Asati. The Hong Kong Sevens will kick off this Friday with the Kenyan team playing their opening match against Spain and Great Britain on Friday before they meet France on Saturday. Shujaa are placed 9th on the log, currently with 15 points from the Dubai, Cape Town, Perth and Vancouver legs. From the Hong Kong Sevens, the team will then proceed to the Singapore Sevens early next month. Meanwhile, the stage is set for the semi-finals of the Kenya Cup, where KCB will host Menengai Oilers this Saturday in an eagerly awaited match at the Ruaraka grounds in their quest to reclaim their title this year, while defending champions Kabras Sugar will face Nondes in the other semi-final match in Kakamega next week. The Football Kenya Federation President Hussein Mohamed has promised better match experiences in forthcoming matches after they were overwhelmed by a massive turnout during Sunday's FIFA World Cup qualifier, where Gabon beat Kenya 2-1 in a thriller at the Nyayo National Stadium. The FKF president was addressing the media following concerns raised about an overflow of match tickets, despite selling 17,406 tickets according to their records, as others forced their way during the match, which was allegedly sold out. He hailed fans for their undeniable passion, which led to the massive turnout, noting that they had picked valuable lessons from the qualifier that will help them improve on ticketing and security measures so that everyone can have the ultimate match experience. He was flanked by the 2024 CHAN Local Organizing Committee Chairman Nicholas Musonye, who said they have a security plan in place for CHAN to ensure a seamless tournament in August.
Mine will be very brief. We want to give us league matches should offer a great match day experience. It's a day of family and friends to come and enjoy football. And we call on fans to support their teams passionately while maintaining peace and respect for one another.
We are finalizing the infrastructure process. Once that is done, everyone will be secure. Fans, players, and the media will be secure.
And that report brings us to the end of the sports news tonight. I'll see you tomorrow with more sports news. My name is Karen Kibet. Have a peaceful night. I hand you back to my colleagues Muchuma, Odim and Mboya.
Thank you very much, Marquette Express. Of course, earlier on we had Nemo handling the business docket. And on behalf of the Prime Edition team at the back end, I want to thank you guys for watching. My name is Mboya, wishing you a pleasant evening from Nairobi, Kenya.
My name is Muchuma Odim. I was saying Language Express tonight. Earlier on, we had Susan Thuku, and now we have Byron Abuli. God bless.
Good night.
Jet A1, cheza avieta bila data bila credo. Dial *892# for instant takeoff. Pepea bila pressure kucrash au kucash out. Avieta bila data, avieta bila credo. Uko na kabambe, wewe pia ni rubani mnoma. Dial *892#. Jet A1, michezobet.com. Cheza kwa kuwajibika. Kushiriki ni miaka 18 au zaidi. BCLB license number 0000664.
tumsikize Sheikh Danun ili aweze kutufahamisha kuhusiana na kisa hiki na mengine mengi ambayo yanafungamana na jinsi ya kuchuma mazao ya mwezi mtukufu wa Ramadhani.
Kwa sababu dini yetu hii ni dini ya kukumbushana. Kwa hiyo tunapokumbushana tuhakikishe tunakumbuka huu ukumbusho na tuwe wenye kufanyia kazi haya maamrisho yanayotoka kwa Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala na kadhalika. Allah ya Allah, Rasul Allah.
Cheza loto, shinda pesa mo.
Nice kabisa, ikiwa jina langu ni Padi, na lako ni gani?
Nicholas Masila.
Nicholas Masila kutoka area gani?
Nakuru.
Sababu yake kucheza loto moto ni gani?
Nahitaji kitu.
Hapa ndani iko kitu, unatamani upate nini?
100k.
Nice kabisa, iko 100,000 Kenyan shillings hapa. Huenda kakuwa ni yako. Madam, jina nani?
Doris Magandi.
Doris Magandi kutoka area gani?
Meru County.
Meru County. Watu wote wa Meru wanakaa wasupu hivi ama ni wewe peke yako? Kazi ni gani unafanya?
Kulima.
Kulima? Nini imekuleta hapa? Unataka kupata nini leo?
Nataka kupata school fees.
School fees. Iko school fees hapa. Brother man, jina nani?
Kwa majina ni Godfrey Simeyo.
Kutoka area gani?
Mzaliwa wa Bungoma County.
Mzaliwa wa Bungoma County.
Yes.
Najua watu wa Bungoma wanakujanga hapo wananisumbua. Leo niko na shida, si ndio?
Huko chonjo tu leo.
Godfrey, ni nini unataka hapa ndani?
Mimi nataka kumfaidike na loto moto.
Nice kabisa. Doris, Godfrey na Nico, hapa ndani nimewaandalia mapochopocho na iko pia makashkash. Hapa ndani nimewawekea double door fridge na inaenda na water dispenser. Hapa ndani nimewawekea mbuzi dry fry na iko na ugali. Hapa ndani iko 40,000 Kenya shillings. Hapa ndani iko 50,000 Kenya shillings. Hapa ndani iko 100,000 Kenya shillings. Na hapa ndani iko kaching 150,000 Kenyan shillings. Msema kweli? Sijui kama nimedanganya. $100,000 Kenya shillings iko wapi? Na 150,000 Kenya shillings iko wapi? Nani anatamani kufika wa kwanza hapa? Nicholas, the man from Nakuru.
Yeah.
Umesema haja yako ni 100. Hapa sasa kuna 150. Unafikiria mara mbili ama ni hiyo hiyo?
Wacha nifikirie kuhusu hiyo.
Lakini 100 bado unaendea, si ndio? Simama hapo. Ka 150, ka 100, ka 50 na ka 40. Katikati ya hii pesa iko dawa ya dudu na iko ndani ya haya masanduku. Uko sure unataka kuenda hapo ama nikupatie ka 1,000 tu urudi kwa Asta?
Mimi nataka kwenda huko.
Chukua hii 7. Chukua hiyo 7.
Wacha nikuambia na hiyo.
What if nimpatie 150,000 Kenyan shillings na ikatai? Unachukua hiyo sanduku nimeweka hiyo pesa ama unarudi kwa hiyo 7 yako?
Chanya rudi kwa hii 7 yako.
Kwa mara ya 3 unachukua sanduku namba 7, namba 4, ama unachukua this 7,000 Kenya shillings zenye siongezi shilingi hata moja.
Wacha nibaki tu na hii 7.
Kwa mara ya 2 nauliza, unachukua sanduku namba 7, unachukua namba 4, unageuza ama unachukua this 7,000 Kenya shillings yenye unaona
ninabaki na 7.
Kwa mara ya 3. Kichwa ngumu mimi. Are you sure? Unachukua 7, 4, unageuza ama 7. Final.
Mimi nakubali chenye kiko hapa. Kama
yeye ndio anaenda Nakuru.
Takubali.
Fungua sanduku namba 7. Nani anataka kuwa pili hapa? Nani? Mwanadada. Simama nayo hapo. Iko 7 hapa. 7 imeshaenda. Sasa tunaenda tukiongeza, si ndio? Usikubali tuteremke. Shika hii. Unataka gani hapo?
150. 150.
Tulisema 100. Haya, chukua basi. Kama unaamini 40 imeenda, basi dawa ya mende bado iko hapa basi. $10,000 Kenya shillings. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Hauendi na hii 1,000 Kenya shillings. Hautoki na hiyo sanduku. Uwe. 18,000?
Acha nikwame hapo tu.
Utakwama? 20,000 Kenya shillings. Unaenda nayo ama unachukua this?
Naenda nayo.
I can still add.
Naenda nayo.
Niongeze 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 26,000 Kenya shillings. Hautaki kuenda nayo? 27, 28, 29, 30,000 Kenya shillings.
Acha niende na hii 30.
Umeiwacha ukachukua nini? Anauliza tu, ukachukua nini? 30.
Wacha tuseme yenye
unaenda na 30. Tulisema wewe ni na 11. Unaenda na hii 30.
Acha niende na 11.
31, 32. Hii wache 32,000.
Siachi.
In 3.
Siachi.
Unachukua hii 32?
Chukua hii.
Katoa hivyo. Kwa mara ya pili. Unachukua 32 ama unageuza sanduku. Na unajua nimeongeza 2,000 Kenya shillings.
Yenye iko hapo, acha niseme.
Mara ya 3 na ya mwisho nauliza. Doris Wameru, unachukua hii ama unageuza? Ekobwa. Kiago, fungua hiyo. Kuja. Mama hapa. Shika hii. Unasema kazi ni gani?
Kibarua tu.
Kibarua tu. Nataka kuingiza hiki tu kwa mfuko hapa. 33. Unaweza rudi kwa stand kama unataka.
Bado nataka kuchagua box hapa.
Mtu wa Bungoma, wachana na sanduku yangu.
Afadhali sisi niache lakini nichukue sanduku.
Nipatie. Nipe kabisa na madharau, si ndio? Mulikamo sanduku namba. Mulikamo hii sanduku tafadhali. 32, 33, 34, 35.
Hapa tu namba 4. Nilikuwa naota tu kwamba nifike Rotomoto hadi nishike kwa hiyo sanduku.
Unapenda chakula watu
sanduku.
Niongeze ifike 37.
Lakini bado mimi nataka tu hii sanduku.
Nijaribu?
Bado.
Haya, kichwa changu ni mbaya. 36. 37.
Bado ni sanduku tu.
Kwa mara ya 3. Unachukua hii, unachukua hizi.
Bado hii tu.
Hata imefika 40. Niendelee?
Haiye imeisha, mimi bado tu niko tu hapa.
Imeisha?
Hiyo imeisha.
Kwa mara ya pili nakuuliza, unachukua hii, unachukua hizi.
Hapa.
Godfrey.
Yes.
Hii ni mara ya mwisho. Unachukua sanduku gani?
Sanduku namba
4. Wiri nyasaye ya kulinda, fungua hii. 40,000 wamewacha hapa, ikiwa wote watatu wamefika hapa kupitia www.tushinda.com kucheza Lucky Game au *570#. Tuonane baada ya break.
Cheza Loto Moto.
Bwana Town Express. Twende bwana Town. Wapi Town? Kalia hapo nyuma, kalia. Bado haijajaa, dereva watu wengine 7.
Kwani wazako si ungekulia kwenu? Sasa umetoka wapi? Mimi sitaki mahindi leo.
Wewe unanishia mkate.
Siagusi mkate food.
Wewe ongea bora usikuze mkate yangu.
Si ushike hii. Nataka kukulia huko mbali na mimi. Si mimi nakulamiwa ni wewe.
Donda, gari imejaa na bado unasema watu waingie. Tuambie ndare hapo apunguze wimbo. Niongee na sana hapa.
Hakuna volume inapunguzwa hapa. Kama unataka kuendesha gari yako, enda dial *570#, option ya 3. Watu wanaendesha magari hapa nje na wewe bado unapiga nyenyenye kwa matatu.
Option 3,
unalipa ama unasuka?
Comfort yako iko kwa *570#, option 3. Master Genio moja safi, reliable, modern safety and security features. Cheza mara kadhaa ujaze entry tickets zako kwenye draw ili uimarishe uwezo wa kushinda. Mshindi tunamtangaza 27th of April na gari tutakufikishia.
unaenda ama wewe? Mimi sindi na madri nishainuka na *570#.
Inuka na Genio kwa *570#, option 3.
Asante.
Leta. Hatuwezi tukaanza na pesa kubwa kama tujasoma hizi machips na mani. Kuja. Ona jamani kutoka Nakuru wanakula sausage na heshima. Baada ya kukataa shilingi ngapi? 7,000. Kwa kukataa kuchukua shilingi zangu 7,000. Nicholas kutoka Nakuru, unarudi Nakuru bila njaa. Kwa sababu unatoka mahali hapa kama umeshashiba na hiyo sausage 2. Na unaongeza mbuzi dry fry na ugali.
Amebaka chakula mzuri bana.
Achapaka ni
mbuzi. Nyama ya mbuzi ni bei gani? Kilo moja ni 700.
Umeipokea ma?
Ninapokea.
Tutaisosi ama juu inakaa fiti?
Kula.
Naweza omba kitunguu. Naweza omba hapo tu kitunguu moja tu hapa. Shida. Onja hiyo kitu bwana. Hiyo kitu imeenda schools, groups of schools. Kula ni kama ni zawadi yangu. Guys kuja. Leo tusipo unaona hapa. Karibia. Guys. Ukatama 30,000 Kenya shillings. Unatoka hapa na 1 juicer na pressure kuka. $30,000 tumeniwachia. Ona pale sasa. Naona vile ni mali safi na ni mali mpya. Songea uone. Leo mumesema ni mnofu munywaji. Pokea huyo. Ogwa, shikilia huyo. Mkono ya left. Yes! Unasikia ni uzito? Godfrey.
Yes.
Baada ya kukataa shilingi zangu 1,000 ngapi?
42.
Ujui 42.
It was 42.
Yote unatoka mahali hapa na sio moja. Unaenda Bungoma na chips na sausage. Utaongeza? Utaongeza ama umekataa timu yangu?
Mimi mentosa.
Haijatosha. Godfrey, haijatosha. 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 Sasa tunaweza tukaleta juice, si ndio?
Juice
ndakuonga naye. Yoni sip moja, si ndio?
Iko sawa.
Asante baba.
Nyingine iko.
Yoni sip mbili Sasa tunaweza tukaendelea, si ndio?
Hapana.
Hapana, tunaendelea. Mimi nakusaidia. Mimi kama msaidizi wako. Chukua moja, mimi nachukua moja.
Utaniwekea tu kwa pale sasa niende naye. Siwezi kutupa.
Kila mtu na yake. Tuonane baada ya break.
Kupitia star 570 hash tunakupa nafasi ya kuchomoka na this beautiful Mazda Demio. Let's check out the amazing features. Enjoy a beautiful clean semi-leather interior, low mileage, touchscreen and a reverse cam, fuel-efficient 1300cc engine, great for personal use and business. It has a blind spot monitor, parking sensor and smart brake support. Ukikaribia any obstacle unapata alert. Ukitaka kujishindia gari hii, kucheza ni rahisi sana. Chukua simu yako, bonyeza star 570 hash, chagua option 3. And for only 35 shillings, hii gari inaweza kuwa yako. Kumbuka kucheza mara kadhaa because the more you play, the higher chances of wewe kuwa mshindi.
Kuna Mungu mbinguni. Thank you Jesus. Mungu ni mwema. Asante Mungu. Hilo nitakuwa naendesha hivi.
Uber ama personal car. Huu mwaka inuka na Lotomoto. Dial star 570 hash and make this dream car yours.
Cheza Lotomoto. Shinda pesa moto moto.
Na ushindi wa 150,000 Kenya shillings ya wiki hii na muendea ticket number TCM 8N TLSLQ. Nambari za simu 0728-999. Stella Tip Cremoy. 150,000 Kenya shillings za biashara zinakukujia na tulimtembelea mshindi wa wiki iliyopita. Tizama. Helen.
Yes. Nimekuja.
Helen nani?
Pawera.
Umekaribishwa.
Sana. Tena sana. Karibu sana. Welcome. Take a seat.
Nice. Niambie Helen.
Yes.
Kana kupeleka aje?
Biashara sasa ndio iko na sinda. Hakuna stock. Customers wako lakini stock ndio hakuna.
Na naona wewe ni mmoja wa watu wenye kuna duka kubwa hapa around hapa.
Hata ilikuwa kubwa. Ni vile sasa nilisidiwa juu ya watoto. Naona unapeleka shule, unapeleka mahali kwingine. Sasa kukakua hivyo.
Na kwa nini uliaminia Lotomoto na kucheza Lotomoto?
Sistangu anakaanga Nairobi. Akaniambia, si unjaribu Lotomoto, wanapeananga pesa. Na nikaanza mara hiyo hiyo. Mungu ni nani? Najua uko na kitu.
Nena nimekwambia niko na kitu.
Huwezi kosa kitu.
Helen. Simama. Iko sababu ya mimi kufika hapa. Helen Wawera. Baada ya kudial star 570 hash, wewe ndio mshindi wa hii wiki wa 150,000 Kenya shillings ya biashara.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus.
Amen.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you, my Father. Thank you so much. God bless you. God bless Lotomoto. Thank you, Jesus. Asante sana Lotomoto. Nimecheza na nikasinda giri 150 ya biashara. Niko na watoto wako college, nitawalipia school fee na ingine ingie sasa huku kwa biashara.
Mshindi ameshapata yake 150,000 Kenya shillings. Tunaamka asubuhi kuelekea Nakuru, usaidizi wa charity. Tuonane. Wewe unasemaje?
Niko hapa na Lotomoto.
2025 ni kujitegemea. Kama ni kuanzisha au kuimarisha, ni biashara yako. 2025 jitegemee na bizi yako. Charity. Charity. Ukoje?
Nakuja Nakuru juu yangu. Mungu akubariki.
Lazima tujue.
Asante.
Talk to me, Charity.
Majina naitwa Anastasia Charity. Mimi ni mkazi wa hapa Free Area Nakuru. Na mimi ni mfanye biashara wa hapa, huwa ninauza mitumba, nauza trousers na viatu. Nikakuja ikafika mahali nikalemewa kwa sababu ya shida ya mwili. Nikakuwa na shida kwa kichwa, nikapata brain tumor. Alafu 2022 March nikaenda nikafanyiwa surgery, nikatolewa brain tumor on March 2022. Kutolewa tumor kumbe ilikuwa imeharibu bone yangu ya hapa. Wakatoa mpaka bone. So singekaa tena bila mfupa. Wakaniita tena another surgery. Niende waniwekee chuma kwa kichwa. Kuitisha MRI tena ikatoa tena niko na maji. Pale kwenye tumor ilikuwa maji ilikuja occupy. Lakini mimi naomba Mungu usiku surgery nyingine akitu Mungu anipe maisha. Nilea watoto wangu. Sasa mimi nililemewa kabisa kustock kazi yangu.
This is the only source ya income yenye uko nayo kwa nyumba.
Ndio
matibabu, ndio chakula, ndio rent.
Ukweli mimi dawa zangu ni 16,000 per month. Nimefika mahali hata huwa hatununui hizo dawa.
Ukasema unataka
kazi unajua?
Nguo, angalau
ukipata at least hizo manguo nitafanya kazi na nitalea watoto.
Kama uliitisha na tumefika hapa, wacha itenda. Nikisimama utanifuata?
Ndio.
Twende. This means what ikiwa hapa?
Back to life. Hey,
ndio hiyo. Ni mali safi?
Kai sana. Angalia tu tukai.
Charity yuko ama yuko? Amerudi hajarudi? Amerudi hajarudi? Now you have all shades.